So for the past few months, you guys have been asking me how I made these pictures that I put in the entryway of my home. I have 2 sets of 4 in the entryway, and that's kind of how you enter my home. And then I also did a kind of 3-dimensional art piece in the bathroom in our bathroom refresh project. So I wanted to show you guys how to make them because you've been asking me on both YouTube and Instagram for months. At least for that one. You couldn't have asked for months on the other one because I just put it up. But today, I'm gonna show you how to do that, and I'm gonna say that this is one of those art projects that is so easy for everyone. Again, so many of you tell me you're not creative. You are creative. I firmly believe that, but even if you're not convinced, try out this project. You're gonna do it, and it's gonna turn out perfectly. When I am doing artwork for my home, I try to be a little bit more sustainable. I'm not a professional artist, and all of this stuff is going in my own home. So I don't go out and buy the most expensive supplies or anything like that. I kind of work with what I have. So this is a painting that I made a really long time ago, and I never displayed it or like put the finishes on it or anything. So it's just a free canvas. So this is the canvas we're actually going to work with today. Again, you can always recycle a canvas, recycle one that you've already worked on, or get one from the Goodwill or something like that. That's really cheap. If you're doing smaller art, you can also get them from the dollar store, but that's just what I'm working with today. To this project, you're going to need a canvas and some recycled paper. So, since Babe and I already got married, I no longer need this wedding book, which we got from Goodwill in the first place, which was incredible because these books are really expensive. But I'm going to take some pages out of the book. I know some people don't love that, but I'd rather recycle paper than buy paper just for that. And I'm just gonna use the appendices or the appendices, depending upon how you like to say it. And I'm gonna use that for my texture in this project. The other thing you're going to need is some type of adhesive. You could use hot glue, you could use wet glue, but I like to use the Spray Super 77 because it just doesn't like fall anywhere, and it's really easy to adhere things to, and that's kind of what we need to do for this project. You could also use Mod Podge. I'm going to use Mod Podge a little bit later on, but I'm not going to use that to glue things down because if I put on too much, which I always do, it seeps out to the side and it causes some discoloration, which I don't particularly love. And last but not least, you're going to need some paint. Obviously, I like to work in black and white. One of these paintings is going to be all black. If I do that one, and the other one's going to be all white. I like to have really neutral art, and the way to make it more exciting, again, is to add texture, which is what we're going to do here today. And then, of course, you need a paintbrush. So step 1 is to get your pieces of paper. What I like to do when I don't want to like tear up a book is I use the newspaper after we've read it, or I get like the menus that people leave in your mailboxes very annoyingly, and I use those for my art. That's a really good way to get some paper. But all you have to do is take that piece of paper and kind of like fold it up into a shape. It can be whatever shape you want it to be. I think abstract art is just kind of like going for it. So I folded it into a shape, and now I'm going to take my glue, shake it up, and spray it. There you go. And then I'm just going to push the paper down. And actually, what's really cool about this canvas is because there's texture on it already, I'm going to use that to my advantage. So in some places, I'm going to have texture from the paper. In other places, I'm just going to not put paper there and rely on this texture. So you could definitely do that to start your painting. Now that you have the texture on your canvas from the paper, like you see here, it's secured pretty well. The paint also helps things stick down, but I'm going in with white acrylic paint. Again, I just want there to be dimension from the different types of texture. I don't want it to be from color because I don't love color. So now we're going to paint everything. I just opened this white paint, and I'm not going to waste this paint here. So I'm just going to use what's on the lid. I mean, waste not, want not, right guys? And then I'm just going to grab a brush, and I'm going to put it on there. This brush is horrible. Do you guys see that? And that's because me or Babe failed to wash this appropriately after we used it, and now it's stuck. So then I'm gonna get a different brush, and then I will get to it. Before I finish up this painting, I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people like you. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. They have classes in interior design, graphic design, photography, and thousands of other subjects, so there's always something that will interest you. I love creating art by hand, but for months I've been interested in creating digital art using my iPad, but I couldn't figure out how to do it on my own. Luckily, Skillshare's Brooke Glazer has a course titled Introduction to Procreate, which is a drawing app for iPad. With her course, I was able to learn how to create, size, and export my own digital art so that I can create art that perfectly tailors to my needs without having to make any mess. Brooke's class was only 1 hour and 22 minutes, with most Skillshare classes being under an hour. The best part is there are no ads. Skillshare is fully dedicated to helping you swiftly explore new skills and deepen your passions. It's also super affordable, with the annual subscription being less than $10 a month. If you're interested in unlocking your creativity with Skillshare, the first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Now let's finish up this painting. Now that I have painted everything white, I don't love the streaks, so I'm just gonna go in with a sponge brush like this. You can get this at the Dollar Tree or really anywhere. And just get rid of some of those streaks, but obviously be careful or you have moments like that, which I just did there. It's gonna create a different texture, but you know, just do different directions so that you have it look like brush prints are going in like different, I don't know, directions then. Okay, and I actually really like that I have the texture from the other thing down below. So if you want texture like that, what you do is you grab some spackle. I'm always talking about spackle. Grab some spackle, put it on there, and call it a day. Now that I have my second coat on and it is dried, I'm gonna go in with matte Mod Podge. And I'm gonna do that because you wanna finish on your artwork, and it's gonna get rid of like the glossy sheen that it has on it. So this is what Mod Podge looks like. It literally just looks like white glue. And again, I'm just gonna go in with a paintbrush and go over top of everything. And you want to be really thorough about this because you want everything to look uniform in terms of sheen. I really did want to learn how to do digital art because I recommend prints to you guys all the time, and I was like, what if I made some? Not only for myself, but for other people because I really just love creating art and I'd like to share it with you without having to do a DIY. So I actually learned so much from that Skillshare class, and this is the app that Brooke recommended. So this is Procreate, and it's open on my iPad, which I love because I have the nice Apple Pencil, and basically you can do any type of sketch. This is not me, unfortunately, but you can do any type of sketch that you want. So that's what I did. So what you do is you go to, let's X out of that. So you go to the plus, then canvas, and then you set your dimensions. So in terms of inches, the biggest ones you can do is 16. I mean, honestly, I feel so proud of myself that I'm doing this like upside down. I feel like the big lady on campus. And then I have it in inches, and then color profile, you do this one, and then create. So this is the right size canvas for a 16 by 20 print, which is what I'm gonna get from Walgreens. And I always am telling you guys to get 16 by 20, so that's actually perfect for me. And what I can do is I can use my pencil or my hand to draw just about anything. There are all of these different tools from drawing, painting, artistic, and so forth. So you can draw anything you want and then you can print them. So the one that I'm going to print is this one. So I have this client, you know who you are, who has been wanting this one painting from Pottery Barn forever, and she couldn't get it. And we were like, let's try and figure out how to get it. So this is not it, but this is inspired by it because I'm always thinking about it because we're trying to find a way to get it for her with a good budget. So I made this one last night, and you can see I did watercolor, I did charcoal, I did just about everything, and you can fit it all in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have this printed at Walgreens, and I'm gonna show it to you so you can pretty much make anything you want in here. But this is something I'd love to have in my house, and it would cost so much money to get it somewhere else, but I was able to make it. So it is the next day, and I'm so excited to show you the results of both art projects. So let's start with project number one, the bathroom project, the entryway art. They're one and the same, so this is what it looks like. The Mod Podge was critical to this entire art piece because it helped me get a more matte look than I would have ordinarily had. And again, this is not just the folded art, this is the folded art with the spackle, and I think it turned out fairly well. And I also wanted to show you one without spackle just so that you can see what that would look like. Very similar It's just really nice and a little bit matte and simple. There's so much dimension and it barely costs me any money. Again, you just have to pay for the canvas, which you can get at the Dollar Tree, Joann, Michael's, Ross, and then recycled paper and paint. So earlier I told you about Procreate, which is something that I learned about via Skillshare, and honestly I am blown away at how well this turned out. So I showed you how I made it, and what I did, what I did is I went to Walgreens and I had this printed. And I absolutely love how it turned out. It looks like what I was trying to go for and emulate, and the whole thing all together only cost me $9. So I was able to get a perfectly tailored piece of artwork without spending any money at all. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I had a blast creating these 2 different types of DIY art with you. Remember that the first 1,000 people to use the link in my description box will get a free trial premium membership to Skillshare. Until next time, have a beautiful day.